Well, yes, that's the key question. If Lineage is so close to cleaning up this warehouse, how is it that it still smells so bad near the warehouse in these communities? Well, we've got some images giving some insight on what exactly is going on. Now, these images were taken just in the days leading up to Lineage missing the deadline the mayor laid out. So let's get right to them. Take a look at these pictures. These are pictures from health inspections in the month of August. They show areas like the freezer with waste and sludge on the ground. Also flies on a heap of waste and food residue. Picture after picture showing sludge, flies, and food waste. These are things that continue to accumulate. Worth noting, these are from health inspections that are happening sometimes on a daily basis, but they've all been following up with repeated health violations that the county has called on Lineage to correct. Now, of course, we know that this cleanup is ongoing, so they continue to cite the same types of violations. But again, the food waste, the flies, so many people that we've heard from in neighborhoods say they've been relying on what Lineage is reporting today, reporting having removed 94% of the food waste from the building, but people say they haven't been able to see it for themselves. Keep in mind, Lineage has done a lot of demolition, so from the outside, mostly what you can see is a big white building. So these pictures giving people an idea of what is going on beyond the scenes. We know that there has been a tremendous effort to try to clear out this warehouse, and not making it by the mayor's August 14th deadline is a major point of concern for the neighborhood. Worth noting, Lineage disputes the mayor's deadline. Lineage believes that they have 7 more days at least to finish this cleanup. The mayor said 45 days, but is a question of when that clock started ticking. But we wanted to show you these photos really to give you an idea of what's happening behind the scenes. Hopefully for neighbors, if you're watching, we did hear you when you had these concerns. We asked for the photos, and here they are. Hopefully they help you understand a little bit more of what's happening. Reporting live, I'm Karma Dickerson, NBC4 News.
All right, Karma, thank you. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at some of the key dates in this response. Mayor Bassett's executive order to remove the rotting food was issued on June 29th, but Lineage claims the property was not turned over to them until July 6th.
And now here we are 45 days later, and the mayor says time's up. But Lineage argues the clock didn't start ticking until they were able to access the warehouse. So they claim they have until next Thursday. Begs the question here, how much power does an executive order hold in a situation like this?
NBC4's Conan Nolan joining us now to talk about the city's role in all of this.
Well, remember what an executive order is, whether it's the president or the mayor. It's to execute the law. Congress passes the law, I execute it. The city council passes the law, I execute that. So one wonders, what law is she executing? Because it's not like the city council knew that there's going to be a solar fire and 85 million pounds of meat was going to rot. So one wonders whether this executive order is actually the mayor's bully pulpit. This is part of what her job is. And that is whatever she can't do in terms of the law, she can beat somebody like Lineage into following through. And Lineage has, from what I understand, they agreed to the 45 days. They just have a different impression as to when it started. So my guess is, the mayor has said to the city attorney, find out if we can go after them, put a lien on the property if we have to, whatever you can. She just wants it cleaned up.
So what recourse does the city actually have? I mean, Lineage wants to go in and replace this warehouse. Does the city have anything to do with that? What can they do at this point?
Well, that's a good question. Now, the city attorney's office has to figure out whether or not they have any kind of legal standing. There's a certain amount that they obviously do because of the environment, health and safety for the city. But remember, this is also county, because you've got the county of Los Angeles. There are 2 pieces of legislation that are making their way through the California legislature. I think what the mayor would like, certainly in an election year, is this thing cleaned up now. If it's another week, that's not tolerable, but they may have to suck it up and just expect that. But if a reasonable effort is made to get this thing shored up within a week, but I have to tell you, I've been down there. The smell is awful. You have 87 million pounds of meat even 7% of that, which has yet to be cleaned up, that's a stench right there. And it's sort of baked into the granite. I mean, that building is not going to be cleaned out completely, I think, for some time, even if once the meat is removed. So, you know, it's $100 million that the company says it's spending on this. They are doing it round the clock, 24 hours. It appears that they didn't balk at the 45 days. There's a dispute, though, between the mayor and the company, and that might get down to a problem of communication. That is frequently a problem in these kind of things as to whether or not they were on the same page.
Now, this is an emergency response because, as you said, people are getting sick. There are the flies that we were talking about possibly causing harm. How important is an actual deadline to people who live there? Like
well, I think the mayor wanted to give people, you know, it's a little like Disneyland, where they tell you how long the wait's going to be before you get on a ride. It's not going to be cleaned up overnight. This is a massive disaster, but here's the target date. I'm giving you one. That's what I think the mayor's goal was. She had every intention to hold them to it. But the problem is there's a physicality and the physics of just getting all that meat out. And even if you do it around the clock for 45 days. So my guess is that there will be some saber rattling over litigation. You might have some between the city attorney and Lineage. But this will go away once it goes away. And the mayor wants that to happen now. And may take at least another week.
Cody, you mentioned the county's involved in this too. And let me just say, we've seen county officials, we've seen city officials, but Karen Bass seems to be the point person on all of this.
That's the big job. That's the job she got. And I have to tell you, in politics, it said, if you're explaining, you're losing. And this has been a really tough summer for the mayor in her reelection campaign, in large measure because this is a disaster. We've said it before. It reminds people of the Palisades, frankly. And it's also something that doesn't go away. It's one thing to have a disaster, and then you try to. This continues with the smell, the stench, the vermin, the rats, and the impact on local businesses. So it just is taking so long.
Yeah, kids going back to school now. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That adds another element to this. It's been a rough summer for the mayor, that's for sure.
All right, Conan, as always, thank you. You may remember we've been tracking this story since the moment it broke out. We've tracked the fire, which burned for a week, and the cleanup of the warehouse every day since this fire broke out. That date, hard to believe, June 17th. For updates sent directly to your phone, download our NBCLA app.
All right, we're going to turn to the weather now. We got more sun today, so we thought we'd show you a live look across Southern California. It is looking pretty nice now. We're heading into the weekend. So meteorologist Stephanie Olmo is here for Melissa. How's it looking?
Yeah, it's going to look great as we head into the weekend. So that is some great news, right? Both days, Saturday and Sunday. In fact, temperatures will get a little bit warmer, but hey, not bad at all. I know the past couple of days we've been talking about temperatures running below normal. So now this time around, Saturday and Sunday will be at or even below normal for right now, and then we start to turn things up. So right now we're checking out this live picture of Long Beach, Queen Mary, nice and clear as we continue. Temperatures at 77 degrees at the moment. And of course, temperatures will continue to drop here after the sun sets and into the overnight hours. Right now, checking out the satellite and radar. Again, earlier this morning, we were dealing with the marine layer clouds. Not the case as we continue here this evening. And as we check out just to the east, right near Victorville and Big Bear, we're looking at a couple of spotty showers, thunderstorms out in that area, but very small cells as it continues to slide its way to the north and east as we continue this evening. Again, for downtown Los Angeles, temperatures coming back down into just around 71 degrees around 8 o'clock. 10 o'clock will be in the upper 60s. And then once again, we're talking about a warm up as we head into next week. So we'll have details coming up in your extended forecast. For now, over to you, Kathy.
All right. Thank you, Stephanie. New tonight, a Secret Service operation uncovering more than a dozen illegal skimming devices in our area. Joint Operation LAX took agents to hundreds of businesses in Southern California. They found 17 skimming devices, preventing a potential loss of more than $17 million. Officials say scammers use the information from debit and credit cards. Their advice is not to use a card reader if anything appears unusual.
New upgrades are coming to several airports across Southern California. 5 airports were selected as part of a grant to receive new funding to support modernization projects. LAX Hemet Ryan, Apple Valley, Hawthorne, and Whiteman will all receive federal funding for these projects. Some of the improvements include things like safety features, runways, and new ways to reduce noise.
Still ahead at 6, coming together for Columbia.